What I'm about to show you is going to change everything you think you know. About XRP and the Federal Reserve, the IMF just released a diagram that puts Ripple right next to FedNow. The Federal Reserve is literally opening the doors for Ripple to become an official intermediary inside the American banking system. And there's a 2030 timeline that proves this has been the plan all along. If you're holding XRP right now, you need to see this immediately. Let's start with the bombshell that just dropped. FedNow will enable private sector real-time payments on private ledgers, and the IMF has confirmed the FedNow connection to Ripple. Read this carefully, because this is massive. The Federal Reserve intentionally made it easier for private companies to build their own instant payment systems. They're not trying to replace private sector distributed ledgers like the XRPL. Instead, the Fed is explicitly enabling and supporting private companies to run real-time payments on their own private sector ledgers by giving them settlement, accounts, and extra tools directly at the Federal Reserve. But here's where it gets absolutely insane. The IMF diagram confirms this integration visually. FedNow is illustrated right next to DLT-based platforms like RippleNet. This isn't speculation anymore. This isn't hopium. The XRPL is legally allowed to be used with FedNow. The Federal Reserve of the United States is giving Ripple the green light to operate alongside their instant payment infrastructure. Do you understand what this means for XRP holders? And if you thought that was confirmation enough, Ripple's own Treasury website just made it crystal clear. The Ripple Treasury website directly confirms integration with FedNow through something called Clear Connect. This is not hidden in some obscure document. This is not leaked information from an insider. This is Ripple publicly on their official Treasury website, telling the world they are integrated with the Federal Reserve's instant payment system. Clear Connect is the bridge, FedNow is the highway, and XRP is about to become the fuel that powers institutional payments across America. The skeptics said this would never happen. They said the Fed would never work with crypto companies. They said XRP was dead after the SEC lawsuit. Well, how do you explain this? Ripple has been building in silence while everyone else was panicking, and now the receipts are coming out one by one. This is institutional adoption at the highest level. Now connect the dots with me, because this next piece changes everything. The Federal Reserve just officially proposed a rule that lets banks use intermediaries for FedNow transfers. Until now, FedNow has been strictly direct bank-to-bank inside the United States. But this rule change opens the door for a middle layer to process payments, especially for cross-border flows. And guess who has been building for this exact model for years? Ripple. Ripple Payments. Direct already supports FedNow rails alongside RTP and ACH. Ripple Treasury infrastructure is built for bank API integrations and instant payments. And Ripple was an early FedNow partner back in the 2023 launch era, approved by the Federal Reserve themselves. But here's the part that changes everything. Ripple has a conditionally approved United States National Trust Bank charter. This positions them to operate inside the financial system, not outside looking in. There's only one missing piece. Federal Reserve Master Account Access. If that gets approved, Ripple could plug directly into Fed systems like FedNow and FedWire, acting as a fully compliant intermediary for banks using this new rule. We are watching history unfold right now. But wait, there's a timeline that makes all of this make sense. Someone just uncovered a Ripple PDF that outlines the roadmap to implement the Internet of Value. And the target date? 2030. All asset exchange networks are set to become interoperable with ILP, the Interledger Protocol, by 2030. Remember when Brad Garlinghouse recently said you'll be happy in 5 years? This is exactly what he was talking about. The multi-year vision is laid out plain as day. Ripple's goal is to become the standard for international money transfers between banks, with ILP as the standard protocol connecting everything. This isn't just about XRP being used by a few banks. This is about XRP becoming the backbone of global finance. Every payment, every settlement, every cross-border transfer, all flowing through the same infrastructure Ripple has been building for over a decade. 5 years from now, the financial world will look completely different, and XRP holders will be sitting at the center of it all. And the macro environment is about to get even more bullish. President Trump just announced that interest rates will drop once Kevin Warsh takes over as Fed chair. Lower interest rates mean cheaper borrowing. Cheaper borrowing means more money flowing into risk assets. More money flowing into risk assets means massive inflows into crypto. And when you combine that with everything we just covered about FedNow and Ripple integration, you're looking at a perfect storm. The regulatory clarity is coming. The institutional infrastructure is ready, and now the economic conditions are shifting in our favor. This is not random. This is not coincidence. Every single piece of the puzzle is clicking into place at the exact same time. The people who understand what's happening right now are positioning themselves. The people who don't will be watching from the sidelines wondering how they missed it. Which side do you want to be on? Now, let me show you what institutional adoption actually looks like in real time. Ripple just announced a partnership with Kyobo Life Insurance, one of Korea's largest and most established life insurance companies. They're exploring on-chain financial infrastructure using Ripple custody. Kyobo becomes the first Tier 1 Korean insurer to take this step, bringing government bond settlement closer to real time. This is not some small pilot program. This is not a press release with no substance. This is a massive financial institution, with billions in assets moving their operations onto Ripple infrastructure. Government bond settlement in real time on Ripple technology. The traditional finance world is merging with blockchain right before our eyes, and XRP is at the center of it. Every week brings a new partnership. Every month brings a new integration. The momentum is building faster than most people realize. But here's the detail that most people completely missed about the Kyobo announcement. Who always moves first in the XRP ecosystem? Yoshitaka Kitao, the CEO of SBI Holdings Japan. He purchased 4.99% of Kyobo Life a few years back for 18 billion yen. Then SBI acquired the company on April 17, 2025. And just yesterday, Ripple announced custody services for Kyobo Life in their first partnership with a major insurance company in Korea. This is not a coincidence. Kitao has been saying XRP will reach triple digits for years, and he puts his money where his mouth is every single time. But it gets even bigger. Kyobo Life Insurance received regulatory approval to acquire a 50% plus 1 share stake in SBI Savings Bank. This makes Kyobo the largest shareholder of South Korea's top savings bank. They're transforming from an insurance company into a comprehensive financial group. And guess what technology is at the heart of this transformation? Ripple. More APAC expansion is coming. That is guaranteed. The Asia-Pacific region is going all in on XRP while the rest of the world is still sleeping. When this thing finally breaks out, it will be violent. Generational wealth is being created right now for those who understand what's unfolding. Share this video with someone who needs to see it. Subscribe if you want to stay ahead of the curve. And I'll see you in the next one.